Hot Mic Sports, presented to you by Hot Mic Entertainment, home of the hot takes and where we keep the mic hot. This your host, Dev. We back with a new weekly episode here at YouTube. Thanks for joining me. And today we're going to be talking about icons and how icons have transcended the sport, bigger than the sport itself. Let's get right into it, y'all. I'm excited about this one. So what is an icon? An icon is not just legacy, y'all. An icon is not just talent. An icon changes sports with their presence, their influence, and their impact beyond the game, y'all. Icons change how sports feel, they bring in new fans, and they become bigger than the league and the sport itself. Today we're going to be talking about a few icons that I have came to mind, and I know you're going to have a few icons that come to your mind too, but today I'm going to talk about the ones that make the biggest influence on each sport. And so we're going to start with the WWE. The WWE has created a lot of legacies, a lot of wrestlers, a lot of people have came and went. But there's two names that stand out to me. And I grew up in this era where it changed wrestling itself, the Attitude Era. And in the Attitude Era, you had two wrestlers who influenced everybody. And they are considered icons in my opinion. Starting with The Rock. Now, The Rock had the charisma, he had the presence, he had the crossover capability to be able to go from just wrestling into movies and acting. A lot of wrestlers try, but not a lot of wrestlers are successful. The Rock had a lot of catchphrases. Jabroni, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Just bring it, to name a few. He also is from a lineage of wrestlers, right? His dad also wrestler, Dwayne Johnson, who was also a champion as well, just like The Rock. But The Rock had a different kind of presence in the ring. He held it down for us, right? He actually showed you what it was like to be one of us in wrestling. A lot of kids looked up to him, especially when he made the transition from wrestling into acting. That is what you would call an icon, somebody who impacts beyond the sport. The Rock, he was rivaled to another WWE icon, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin was rebellious. He had attitude. He was raw energy. You knew when he was on the mic that you was going to get a good laugh, but somebody else was going to keep it real and give you some great wrestling matches. That's just the bottom line. We all know he made his debut at King of the Ring with the famous phrase, Austin 316, just whooped your, you can finish the sentence. But ever since that moment, Stone Cold came through like a tornado, y'all. He ushered in the Attitude Era. That is why Stone Cold will be an icon forever in our eyes, just like The Rock. Now, you have some honorable mentions, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, the Undertakers, but those guys are not icons outside of the ring. Those are icons in the sport itself. We all know, mad respect to the Undertaker, crazy WrestleMania streak, icon in the WWE, not an icon in the sports world itself. Stone Cold and The Rock, to me, are the icons when you mention WWE. Now, moving on to the NBA, this one can get tricky, right? Because there's one person that comes to name when I think about icons. I mean, there's several people you can say are icons, but there's two right now in the last two generations of basketball. Number one, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is an icon. We all know this. Just look at every 7 out of 10 kids walking around in his sneakers. He took the game and made it global. Not only did he take the game and made it global, but he also introduced big shoe deals, right? He introduced the shoe deals. A lot of players have brands now and shoe deals now because of Michael Jordan. It takes an icon to do that. Regarded as the GOAT, regarded as the greatest of all time to a lot of people, he is the reason why your favorite player started playing basketball. That is an icon, y'all. And another icon, an honorable mention in the NBA, I have to go with LeBron James. Now, in the next 20 years from now, kids are going to look back on the sport, and they're all going to look at LeBron. They're going to say, what did LeBron do other than break every scoring record, every field goal record? What did he do other than play for 20 years? Well, LeBron James ushered in player narratives, y'all, player control, okay? He impacted social media and society in a way where no other NBA player has. And that is building that school, the I Promise School. It takes an icon to do something like that. He will forever be remembered outside of basketball. He will forever be remembered attached to basketball, along beside Michael Jordan. A lot of players compare these two as the greatest of all time. Everybody has their own opinions. However, I can agree on one thing, and that to me, they are both icons beyond the sport. They changed the way the game was played. They changed the way the game was carried moving forward. There's a few honorable mentions, of course. You know your Steph Curry's, your Kevin Durant's. but those are not icons. Let's see what happens with Steph Curry over the next 5 years. Let's see if he can transcend his legacy into icon status. We all know he changed the way the game was played, right? That's enough said. Now, we're going to talk about the NFL. Now, what makes this special, the NFL doesn't have a lot of icons, and that's just my opinion. But every once in a while, you have a player come through that changes the way we look at NFL players. That's why there's two names that come to mind right now when I think about this. Tom Brady and Deion Sanders. NFL players is not a lot of icons, but when they do, they make a big splash, and that's why these two names are mentioned. Tom Brady, 20-plus years at the quarterback position, won rings at two different teams. We all regard him as the greatest quarterback to ever play. But it's not just about that. It's about the longevity. It's about the legacy. It's about the leadership, the dominance. He won 7 out of 10 Super Bowls. There's been no other player, let alone to even play in that many Super Bowls. So when it comes to the icon status, Tom Brady is an icon in the NFL. Another icon in the NFL, Deion Primetime Sanders. The charisma, the swagger, the presence on the field, there was nobody like Deion ever before. Not just playing defense, but playing in the defensive back, cornerback, right? Because we all know that Primetime shut down his side of the field. You couldn't do nothing with him. But that's not about the play on the field. This is about icon status. And we all know when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. When you play good, they pay good. We all know where that came from, Deion Sanders. Two icons in the legend of football, Tom Brady, Deion, right? When you look at both sides of the field, that's how players are going to be measured. If you're playing defensive back, you're going to be measured up to Deion Sanders. If you're playing quarterback, you're going to be measured up to Tom Brady. Like I said, this goes just beyond the sport, y'all. Each and every one of these names that I just mentioned cross through all sports. No matter what the sport is, if you say that name, for instance, you can say Tom Brady to somebody who follows the WWE. They're going to know who Tom Brady is. You can mention Stone Cold Steve Austin to somebody who follows the NFL. They're going to know. Michael Jordan, so forth and so on. These are icons, y'all. Today's icons are going to come to you through highlights, social media, brand access. These are the way that new icons are created. They're not just on the court or on the field. They're on and off the court. They're on and off the field, right? That's why it's very, very important now for players today to pay attention to who they influence and who their legacy is going to be remembered by. Because there's only going to be a few icons out of this generation that I can see maybe. That may be Wemby, and that may be SGA. But who knows? That may be Patrick Mahomes, right? It may be Josh Allen. We don't know. We don't know. But 20 years from now, we will know. We will know who the icons of this generation are. And we look back and we say, hey, they did it just like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. They did it just like they did. They impacted the sport beyond the game, y'all. So let me ask you this. Who do you think is on your Mount Rushmore icons? Drop them down here. Let me know. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends, tell everybody. I'll see you next time here at Hot Mic Sports, presented to you by Hot Mic Entertainment. This is your host, Dev. Until next time, keep it hot, y'all.